thing that I don't have to produce because you produce this show mostly. So,
I mean, I
God.
try.
I mean, no, you do. Thank God.
Well, I can't help it. If that's what it takes to spend an hour with you, Christian.
An hour? This is 25 minutes.
24 minutes. This is Thursday. Today is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Yes, this is the Producer's Happy Hour.
We are two producers on opposite coast. Lawrence Lewis is in LA. I'm Sister Christian. I'm in New York City. And we're chatting over drinks about what it means to be a good producer, understandably knowing that that is more important today than ever.
Oh, boy. It really is.
Is it?
And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories, your ideas, your thoughts for the show, your comments, your questions, your, what is it called when your hecklings. So join...
We want your negative feedback.
We want your negative feedback.
Us.
Join us, join the conversation at producershappyhourgroup.com or email us at producershappyhour@gmail.com.
And please, more than ever, we absolutely need your for you to rate us, like us, review us on Apple Podcasts. And basically it helps really get to the other people out there who are like you and haven't heard about us, and they want to know, and it helps them find the show.
Yeah, it does. And also, office hours are open. We believe in mentorship and sharing information in this business. So if you're new to the industry or you're stuck somewhere in your career and need some advice, hit us up. Same email, producershappyhour@gmail.com, and just let us know you'd like to have office hours with us, and we are down to chat.
Yes. So, Lawrence, what are you drinking today?
I'm having a stiff one today because I just wrapped a job. But it's a take on one of my classics. It's a mezcal Negroni. So instead, it's all same thing. It's one part.
Oh, so a little smoky, a little nice.
Instead of gin, it's mezcal, and one part mezcal, one part Campari, one part sweet vermouth. What are you drinking?
Well, that sounds more delicious than what I'm drinking, but it actually isn't. I am actually out in LA this week, and we were working a little later last night, so we ordered dinner from Silver Lake Ramen, one of my favorites, and I ordered also a 6-pack of Pacifico, so it was nice. I'm having a Pacifico right now.
Simple, easy, lighter beer when you're in California seems ideal.
Yes, it is.
So, you're in Los Angeles. I've been busy working. We haven't even seen each other. What the hell's going on? What are you doing? What's going on in your world?
Well, last week, I was doing the show live from the stage that I was working on with a huge celebrity.
Yes, you were.
So our celebrity discussion last week was very fresh. And so this week I've traveled out here to LA. I'm working and have a few meetings, but here's the kicker. This morning was a remote job, but it was happening on the East Coast. So when my alarm went off at 3:45 a.m., I was thinking to myself, wow.
Oh, geez.
I know, but you know what? It went off without a hitch, and we're already done for the day. So
what?
Yeah. And so it feels like, okay, now I have more day, or do I take a nap? I'm not sure.
God, I think I would take
a few more Pacificos, and we'll see.
A few more Pacificos.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just got through also a celebrity shoot. That's why we talked about celebrities last week, because that's what we were working on. So, it wasn't the biggest celebrity. Yeah, very topical. It wasn't the biggest celebrity roundup of celebrities, because guess what? All the celebrities are busy too. It's so hard to book them right now and schedule them. So, sadly, all the ones I was excited about couldn't make it. But we had fun. We had a really fun day, and it was a lovely day, and it went off well. And my production team killed it, and I had
that's great to hear.
Yeah, I had a executive talent assistant. Her only role was to gussy up the dressing rooms on the stage.
Oh, I love it. I used to do that when I was a PA.
Yeah, just, we rented lovely furniture, and she just brought plants and fruit plates and little neon sign that said cool vibes, and she tricked it out. EJ was her name. That was great. I was going to save a surprise.
Do you have any photos?
Oh, I should have taken photos.
No, did she maybe? Okay,
I'll ask her. because it'll be good to put it like, here's an example of what a beautiful green
Yes.
room looks like.
Right, because we should reach out to her because I feel like I would love to know her process too, because I feel like it comes up often enough to hire somebody who understands exactly what you need instead of re-explaining it each time would just be
Yeah.
golden.
Yeah. I've often thought about that, having photos of, I think, I don't remember who it was, one of the bigger production companies. They had photographs of how they liked the pre-production meal table to be set up.
Park Pictures? Or was it
Maybe.
Smuggler? It was one or the other.
It was one or the other. And so like this is how they want the water bottles in a pyramid shape. They want, it's like, it was all laid out of how they like to have it. And, that's very high level management.
It is high level, but I also do think that it allows for everybody to expectations are on the table, and there's no chance and disappointment because you know exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it takes the onus of the PA having to make a decision, takes it right out of their hands.
They just do it the way it's been
Here's
done
a guide.
and works and proven, and the way everyone likes it, and it's good. Back to our personal catch up. I'm a little tired today because we had a nice long shoot day yesterday, and it all came together quite nicely. Do you have another shoot coming up, or what's your week like?
What is today? Thursday? So, yes, I have one next Thursday. I think that the remote filming I don't think it's going to go away. I know we touched on this a couple of weeks ago. It's just so much more convenient, and you don't have to wait on a celebrity's availability. You can just have somebody go to their house.
Yep.
So a lot more filming is happening in the realm of what, network promos. Plus there is there's a lot of spots right now for Pride Month, which I love. I remember my very first Pride Month, spot was with Nickelodeon in 2017. And it was a big deal. It was because, Nickelodeon was featuring, it was an amazing spot. I have it on my website.
Oh, yeah.
And since then, networks are now like going all out and doing documentaries and like showing all kinds of stuff and history of what Pride means and what it currently is now and the evolution of it. And I'm loving every second of it.
That's great. I
have another Pride spot next Thursday.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm what my last job was for a big network, a digital, network. Try not to say the name. And we're also doing LGBTQ content for Pride Month for one of their verticals. So it was very exciting. And they're also doing a lot of remote shooting of celebrities as well. And I just had the same conversation with them that it's so much easier. It's so much more flexible. We think rather than flying people back to LA or carting them around, celebrities around wherever to promote a show, we can just send these kits out, and so far everyone's loving it and the quality's been great. Yeah, it is not going away. Definitely.
It's not going away. So, and unfortunately, I do see the downfalls, and I will name them because everybody out there should know. Yeah. Basically, it is a lot less expensive, and you're cutting crew as well.
Yeah.
And so crew is expected to do multiple jobs. You have probably 4 people, maybe 5, and each of those people on the job need to do more than one thing. Like the DP may also need to set a light up. The first AC may also be the second AC and the download technician. The producer is also the AD and the art department most of the time. And the PA is just, doing everything that needs to be done in addition to that. So, maybe you have a teleprompter who's also in the streaming tech, you just it's multiple jobs. And so know that, yes, they are easy, quick little things, but they also do present some challenges if your team doesn't know every single thing there is to know about multiple jobs.
Exactly. And speaking of, I wanted to surprise you today with a crew shout out. I don't know if you've got one, but I've got one. Her name is Rachel Bickert. She was the DP on my job that I shot yesterday. Nice. And it was such a great experience. I haven't even really emailed her. I usually send thank you emails the day after, and I haven't even done it yet. But so she'll get one, and maybe she'll hear this episode and be surprised. But it was just such a lovely shoot. She put together this amazing crew. Her entire camera team, which was herself, a camera operator, 2 ACs, a second AC, a DIT. It was like a crew of 6, all females. Every single person on camera was female. We had a female sound operator, female boom operator, and it was just an amazing day, an amazing crew. And It was one of the most integrated sets that I've worked on in quite a long time, which was the goal. And this project just seemed to be able to afford really tackling this goal. And it was lovely. It was a great set. And so much so that even the people that were sitting in the chair looked around and they said, this is a lot of women. This is amazing. This was really amazing. And we had one celebrity who Instagram storied the set and said, look at all these ladies behind cameras, and, applauded us for it. So that was really great. And I owe it all to Rachel because she's the one that put that amazing team together. And she's a great DP. She really kind of, this was a small scale job, but she didn't treat it like it. And she just kind of knocked it out of the park. So Rachel Bickert, her website is rachelbickert.com, RACHELBICKERT.com. Check her out.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a crew shout out actually. So I've been working with Jalen Nichols for a while now. She is a Texas-based production manager / producer. And she helped us out on filming a project this past Monday. We were filming with Miss Opal Lee for, a series called Voices Magnified. And she has been the largest advocate out there to have Juneteenth become a national holiday. And so I get broken up every time to be in such, it's such an honor to be in the presence of, such an amazing person, 94 years old.
Oh, wow.
We were filming in the middle of nowhere on her farm.
Oh, my gosh.
In Fort Worth, Texas. And I can say that, on these types of jobs, there's always something that happens, like a cable's forgotten in the middle of nowhere, like something happens. And I can tell you that Jalen always handles everything with such grace and style. And I also think it's so important that no matter who your talent is or whether they're an actor or a real person or anything, that they need to feel special.
Yeah.
They should. And it always just makes for a more comfortable set when everybody there is positive. And even when you're having those types of issues, it's nice, no panic, remaining calm and remaining positive is always the best way to go, because then nobody gets upset.
Exactly.
It was a really nice day on Monday. So,
and that's especially important. That sounds amazing. And to your point, it's especially important if you're shooting content that is of a sensitive nature, if you're telling sensitive stories, telling impassioned stories. What we were doing yesterday, we're telling LGBTQ stories for Pride Month. We're telling trans stories for Pride Month. We're telling coming out stories for Pride Month. And to be able to have those conversations in what feels like a very safe, comfortable environment.
Positive and
it's really the only way to do it. And definitely teared a lot of tears yesterday. It was a very emotional set, but very positive. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feeling safe, especially on a docu-style job, in order to tell your story is, it's a good tip of the day.
It is. So today we are just talking about a couple news items that we came across, because these are things that affect us, but they're kind of contradictory, right? Christian, this Havas Studio thing is pretty interesting.
Yes. And I should, I'm going to give a little my history of Havas for full disclosure reasons. I don't like them. Somebody from Havas, feel free to call me, fight me over it. Because, okay, so this is we've given the history a few times this year about, how the jobs have shrunk in size. And I can remember in 2014 and 2015 when Havas came on pretty strong, and we're considered the social media brand, or the agency that you would choose if you needed to have content done. This first time content really came around as a buzzword. And, you would see a drastic reduction in costs in jobs. They were all any time I would get a phone call and know the agency was Havas, I would know that it was half the amount of money that at the time we thought we needed to do the job. So I credit them a lot for the budgets going down.
Interesting.
So, but that's because it's only Sister Christian's opinion. How do you feel about them, Lawrence?
Well, I've never had the good fortune to work with Havas. I only know of them in name. But this article I came across yesterday in Adweek, I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's pretty interesting because what this article goes on to say is that Havas Studios they're creating a worldwide production studio. So, big deal. What does that mean? But their statement is Havas Studios will offer services such as film, audio, print, photographic, and digital content production, as well as post-production facilities, as clients no longer wish to spend a great deal of money on production.
So basically what they're doing now is publicly telling everybody what they have been doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good for them. I mean, might as well own it if that's what you do.
Might as well own it. And, there was this fear, I think it was 5 or 7 years ago, maybe this is when you were talking about of in-house production agencies creating their own in-house production teams to kind of take it on over. And there was a little bit of a panic in the industry because that was starting to happen. But then they got into some kind of legal non-competition, trouble without, bidding jobs out incorrectly. And so they could win them in-house. And some people got busted for that. So that kind of diminished that fear. It was like, okay, people are getting slapped on the wrist for trying to, play funny with the bidding process, but it seems like this is maybe coming back.
The other thing that kind of curbed it for a little bit was the high-end creative directors, the ones who were making, the $2,800 a day people, which again still blows my mind. Creative directors at agencies did not like the quality of the directors that because the in-house production companies were hiring freelance directors because other directors were signed.
They're rostered.
And so the high-end creative directors were like, I don't want to go to the in-house. I get that there's no money. So now I think that now that those high-end creative directors have been slowly retiring or leaving the business now, the need for I think it's coming back. Exactly, for those two reasons.
And, and we're not saying that the high-end expensive work is going away. It's always going to be out there.
But there's going to be a lot more of the cheaper stuff.
Exactly. Because content, right? That's the buzzword. And everyone has to pump out content constantly. Christian, you and I, when we spoke at a conference, we kind of did a little timeline of when budgets started to shrink, starting all the way back at the SAG commercial strike in 2000. But one of the main things was that brands who used to only have to advertise, 2 national broadcast spots a year, it would play on one of 3 networks that the entire television viewing audience was watching at night between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. And that was it. Now, in order to stay relevant and stay in front of people, brands have to pump out 50 pieces of content a month for the same budget, right? Constant content. So that is diminishing. A, it's diminishing the budgets because it spreads it thin, but B, it's diminishing the quality expectations, right?
Yes. And I think that we should be tracking this right now because, we've also discussed how the industry has changed when large events happen like 9/11 in 2008, Great Recession, and when going from film to digital. And I think that right now we should be tracking exactly what's happening coming out of COVID-19 quarantine.
100%.
And these are the things that I see immediately is we as production people immediately learned how to work in COVID conditions. A lot of us were working by July of last year because of, we figured it out, right? Testing and all these things. But what happened was we were doing it with less. We were doing it remotely. We were doing it with less crew.
Yeah.
And so that's starting to become the expectation. And the other thing that it's done is bring out into the open what used to be hidden, which was the old double dip.
Yes, exactly.
And so now production teams fully feel empowered to say, I'm on 2 jobs right now. If I know I can handle it. So if you want to hire me, fine, but just understand that you don't have 100% of me and I'm still charging you full rate. The empowerment of that is amazing.
Yeah.
So, and it can be instead of, lying and working until midnight and hoping to God that nobody found out that you were double dipping.
Yeah.
That's brought into light too, which I think both of those things are for safety reasons I just want to keep my eye on those things.
Absolutely.
Because what we've learned is over the last 20 blah, blah years of doing this is that we never go back.
No. Once
people
changes are
say,
made.
Can we go back to what we were doing?
No. Why?
No. Do not even think what do not even think that we're going to go back to the way things were.
No, not at all.
We've changed, and this is what we are now.
This article goes on to say the short term, well, they want to be able to create this huge set of different highly leveraged images or film or clips and start to use them all over the world. It's being able to be, this is a quote from, I forget who, it's being able to be premium content originators and work with our creative department in order to do that. The short-term aim is to see the creation of 12 integrated digital production studios across 10 markets by next year, offering a full range of production capabilities. And they already have content studios established in London and New York and Chicago and Kuala Lumpur, which I've always wanted to go to. If there's a job out there, someone.
Oh, I'll go.
And the studios will be available for creative teams to work with across Havas, and it will not be mandatory to them. And so it will need to compete with other production houses to offer the talent those teams feel will realize their work the best. So it's kind of internal, but it says that they're open for external companies to come to them to produce content. It's an interesting play, and I'm curious to see what comes of it. Like you said, we should definitely track it. Before we're out of time, I also want to say that LA Times wrote this article, which is a contradicting story because there is a developer who is building a new studio soundstage. I think it was a set of 6 studios on Santa Monica Boulevard at the old Sears building.
Oh.
Yeah, I've always wondered what's going to happen with this property. So they're tearing it
Guess
down.
what?
They're tearing it down. And it's going to be a complex called Echelon Studios. And the article,
give me a break.
I'll post the link. I know.
Will they go on Word Hippo and figure out?
Yeah, they totally did. They totally did. Put 2 words, random words together, and there's your brand. So the article, I'll post the link in the show notes. The article says it will help meet the growing demand for facilities as the industry starts to see COVID-19 pandemic restrictions ease. Sound stages have been in short supply for a long time. Real estate developer David Simon said, this is true. Occupancy has been at 95% plus for the past 5 or 6 years. And looking forward, we don't see a let up in the demand. So this is saying the opposite is that other article about, people not wanting to spend a lot of money on production. If the studios are full, people are spending money on production. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not the most high-end budgets, but
yeah, I mean, yes, they're contradictory, but they're also, I feel like studios will always pay.
yeah.
And I don't think there's getting rid of any union stuff anytime soon, and so that's what these big studios are for.
It is.
One more question for you, Lawrence: is Sister Christian 2 random words together? For a brand?
Oh no,
Maybe.
that is not true.
They're not random words. You're right.
There is deep meaning.
Producers Happy Hour was created with the help of Christopher Daniels, who is a treatment designer, and he also created our logo and branding.
And Kyle Puccia, who is a music composer for commercials, film, and TV. He created our show music.
This episode is edited by Eric Beals.
Thanks for listening. We're back next week.
And please, keep being safe out there. Still COVID floating around.
Yeah. Send us your voice recordings or your emails to producershappyhour@gmail.com.
Lawrence, how do people reach you directly?
2 ways, voiceoflawrence.com for voiceover work or lawrencetlouis.com for producing. How about you, Christian?
SisterChristianProduces.com.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.